Welcome into Sports Idiot Nation. Today is May 4th, and we've got Brent Thrax in to check on his Detroit Pistons, the NBA playoffs, and it is May the 4th, so we have to talk a little Star Wars. We'll find out what's wrong with it and what we love about it, and we'll also check in on Brent Thrax's picks on hockey and find out where he goes wrong. Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots.
May the 4th be with you.
This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. Welcome back, sinners. This is Season 2 of Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in. Happy May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And I am a Lutheran, so I say, and also with you. We brought in Brent Thrax to talk all things hockey and a little Star Wars. And his Detroit Pistons got it done. We'll talk about that. Let's start there. So there was yesterday, Sunday, offered us the best two words in sports, and that is the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding. Game 7. Game 7 is the best two words. And the Pistons, they kind of ran away with it. I didn't know how I felt going in a few days ago with your Detroit Pistons, man. I didn't know if they were going to be able to get it done. And it was kind of a joke if they were going to lose to this Orlando team after they were down 3-1, right? I mean,
Yeah.
dude, come on, get it together. You're the number 1 seed. I don't trust them. I just didn't trust the Pistons, and they kind of proved me right. The fact that they had to go to 7 games, and yeah, they got it done. It wasn't close. Final score 116-94. There has been a Tobias Harris sighting, so that's good. I think he dropped 30. Cade Cunningham, of course, did his thing. But I don't know. How do you feel about the Pistons? I know you're a homer for them, but how do you honestly feel about the Pistons moving forward, seeing how they are the number 1 seed?
I'm just along for the ride. I was shocked they got down 3-1 to Orlando. I didn't know anything about Orlando. I'm like, are they some kind of sleeping giant I didn't know about all year? But uh, they finally pulled it together and got it done. And it's just you know, I don't know when they're on their game. I think they're as good as anybody in the East. But that's a big if apparently. So we'll see.
Yeah, it was just weird that the number 1 seed, I don't know, because look, in the West, you have a number 1 seed that not only did they not play with their food, they didn't even there was no issue whatsoever. I mean, they didn't even drop a single game. So they just swept them, and now you're like, okay, you look at the other side in the East, and the Pistons got all they could handle, losing 3 games to the number 8 seed, in which they're down 3-1. So it's just ugh, I don't know, moving forward. What about Boston losing to Philadelphia, which never happens over the last 4 years? The Celtics, there's 3 things: death, taxes, and the Celtics definitely not losing to the 76ers. That's
Yeah,
the
I
3
think
things in life, right?
Yeah, I think Dr. J was the last Sixer to beat him. I don't know,
You might be right.
but that's another weird team. I mean, Boston had injuries and stuff all year. I don't know.
But then they get Tatum back, and you're like, "Oh
Right. I
gosh, it's
I don't
almost
know if
not
he was
fair."
back though.
Yeah,
Right.
because he missed. And speaking of that, yeah, he missed the game, and so it's dude, that's tough. Now Jaylen Brown scores 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. It's not like he didn't show up, but Joel Embiid had 34 and 12, and he's hurt. He's literally limping around on the court. What I laughed at was Jaylen Brown. It wasn't a podcast. He had like a microphone. I don't, I don't listen to a lot of these athletes' podcasts. Maybe he does have one, but Jaylen Brown got on there and said, like on his Instagram or whatever it was, and he said, "Look, flopping is ruining the game." He's crying over. He's like, you know, bro, you had them where you wanted them, and you let them get back in it, and you let them beat you, and now you're gonna say flopping is ruining the game, and that Joel Embiid is a great player, but all he does is flop, bro. That's not the move, dude. After losing Game 7 at home, when you're the Celtics, and that's all you do is beat the Sixers, that's your go-to on Instagram later that night. This is Saturday night. He's doing this an hour after the game. Like, dude, I don't know. This is where guys like you say, like, see, hockey players are built different. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like Connor McDavid like getting on his Instagram and saying, well, you know, Keith Kachuk, like everyone knows, it's well documented that he has weights in his skates, and so he's just faster because of that. Or like, can you imagine if a hockey player, you can't even imagine it. I don't even know what that would look like, like imagine like Messier on an interview, like, well, yeah, of course, Luke Robitaille, he got the better of me, but that's because his gloves are lighter than mine, and he like, I can't even imagine that. And this is what the NBA does.
Yeah, the flopping does get a little bad sometimes in the NBA.
For sure. But you
They should
can't
give him a
say that.
technical.
Yeah. I'm not saying that part. I'm saying you can't get on your Instagram live or your podcast an hour after you lose and say
Right.
that. That's what I'm saying. You can say that later in June, like June 15th, if you want to like talk about the the way the game is being played now and just casually talk about it and bring it up as a topic. I'm more than okay with that. And I do agree with what he said. It's more the timing. Like, dude, you lost. Like, I can show clips of Jaylen Brown flopping, I'm sure. Everyone does it. So it's just definitely a bad move for me. You scored 33 points, you got 9 rebounds. You played well, man. Like down the stretch, you guys shot every three-pointer known to man and you couldn't hit them. That's it. You lost. So, I don't know, we'll see now what Philly does. I mean, they're not overly healthy, and so now they play um against the Knicks, and the Knicks had a weird deal because we talked on last episode. I don't know if you saw this. I know you don't follow the NBA as much as hockey, but did you know that the Knicks over the last 2 games outscored the Hawks by 80 by 80 points. Their last 2 games, 80 points. That's
Saw
like
that one where they're up by 40 at halftime or
yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
Nuts.
Yeah. I mean that's
Yeah, I'd say the Knicks are the one to really look out for
well, and that's what
in the
so
East.
Miles was texting me and he's like, "Well, the Knicks just paved a path with the Celtics losing. This completely paved the path now where the Knicks kind of have it almost in the bag. Like it would be weird if they didn't make it now to the finals. Like I don't we talked about the Pistons, like gosh, if you go to game 7 against the Magic, I don't know, how you're going to do against the Cavs, which the Cavs won a game 7, yesterday. And so I don't know. I mean, I would have the Pistons probably beating the Cavs. It is kind of cool for Detroit and Cleveland, like in the Midwest, to play at this level for a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I still like the Knicks' chances against the Sixers and the Knicks' chances versus either the Pistons or the Cavs. So the team that I feel bad for the most is, and I want to ask you about this when we get into hockey, is the Timberwolves, because one of the best players in the game, Anthony Edwards, has a bone bruise, is not going to play. and their other starting guard, an exciting White, um, he snapped his Achilles, so he's done for sure, done. So the Timberwolves now, all they get their prize is to play 7'4" Wimby, who might get MVP, and their first game is tonight, and they're already 12.5 point favorites. Can you imagine being a playoff team moving to the next round and you're supposed to lose by double digits? That's how bad it is for the Timberwolves because they're just so hurt. So that kind of sucks, and it should be easy now for the Spurs. I mean, it's been easy for them anyway. The only game they lost was when Victor Wembanyama had a concussion and wasn't allowed to play. That's the only game they lost so far in the playoffs. So, uh, that's like, it's not even fun. It's like if the two best players on a hockey team get injured for the next round of the playoffs, how fun, honestly, is that to watch? It just takes away from it, and you're just so disappointed, you know? So I don't know how that's gonna
Yeah, unlike flopping, health is a big part of the playoffs.
big
Any
time.
sport.
Yeah. Don't have your main guns. Um, so, but yeah, let's see. We both would definitely have the Spurs winning that. Oh, LeBron James. So the Lakers and LeBron, they, uh, we talked about the who's supposed to win by how many points. The Thunder is they're playing the Lakers. They're supposed to win by 16 and a half. That is crazy.
That's
Almost
the line.
20. That's the line. 16 and a half.
Wow.
That's crazy, dude, for a playoff game. And Luka may be coming back. So Luka Doncic might be coming back. You get like
Yeah, I might have to get into gambling. Uh,
16 and a half. Now here's the
yeah,
thing. The
the
Thunder is that good
Lakers.
though.
Oh, sure. And Lakers look like ass all season, and then the first round they look like
Yeah.
they were the champions. I don't know. I guess they decided to start playing for the first time all year. And
Crazy.
yeah, if the Lakers get healthy, look out.
Right. And that's what it's like now their prize for all that is congratulations. You get to play a team that has not lost in the playoffs yet. And oh, by the way, they won the NBA championship last year and they brought back all the same guys pretty much. So it's like, well, okay. I mean, they have their work cut out for them. 16.5 point dogs is their work cut out for them for sure. Um, I mean, I do have the Thunder. Look, it's the Thunder Spurs. It's the Thunder and Spurs. It's not even close. It's almost not even fun. And that's why I hope it gets fun. I hope the Lakers can make a push. I hope the Timberwolves can somehow, I don't know, is Julius Randle going to score 40 points? I don't understand how they're going to win a game even. Timberwolves just don't have Rudy Gobert's going to have 35 blocks like for them to win. I just don't see that. That'd be like a goalie having 100 saves in a game. It's just not going to happen. So, we'll see how that goes. I wanted to ask you a little bit about today being May the 4th, and I think at least the last 25 years, like I've known that was a thing. Yep, there it is. Um, what what was your introduction to Star Wars? Like just when you were a kid and your parents like, hey, we're gonna watch Star Wars, or like what was your first like, okay, this is Star Wars, and tell me that experience.
Uh, I don't know for a fact, but I've tried to piece it together. And Star Wars came out in May of '77, so I would have only been 2 years, almost 3 years old. So
Sure. It's not like you
I
watched it right then.
no, but in the time before cable and streaming, they would leave movies in the theater or re-release them if they're still selling tickets. And people just have no idea what a phenomenon what Star Wars was.
Mm.
It just completely took over the culture in the late 70s because it was so different than anything that had come out before.
Literally
Uh,
anything. Yeah.
yeah, so I think I saw it in the summer of '78, and I have more evidence to back this up. My parents, I don't remember, whatever. But anyways, they took the whole family, and the theater was so crowded, I had to sit on my dad's lap, and I was a hyper, child, baby, whatever, and they thought I would just fuss the whole time, but they said like sat on my dad's lap, and as soon as it started, I didn't move for 2 hours, and
You were locked in.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure after the movie, or because I would have been three almost four, which
And
that
this
makes
is
sense. You
episode
can remember
4.
something.
Episode 4.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
the original one. Yeah,
Yeah.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyways, you have memories. That's when you start keeping memories or whatever.
Yeah.
As a baby, and I don't remember watching the movie itself, but anyways, I think after the movie or sometime really close, we got to go to I think it was called Roses. It was like a Walmart, Kmart thing of the '70s, and that's when I got my first action figure. And my sisters got C3PO, one got R2D2, and I got Han Solo, which I still have somewhere. And
Wow.
that started it all. But like, I don't remember any build up or anything about it. I just remember going to the movie, and then I've been hooked. The last almost 50 years,
Yeah.
and you know it really did change my life at such an early age, and it really gets in your DNA. And I've loved it ever since. It's had a lot of up and downs and good stuff and bad stuff, but just it really launched a lot of what is modern pop culture.
Oh yeah.
And to me, it's like the visual motion picture version of Shakespeare. You know, Maybe not with the uh, intellectual depth, but
Yeah.
the the special effects and the music and the kind of classic hero's journey themes and
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
Pop culture
every
changes over time. Like Shakespeare was that time frame, right? Back then. And then fast forward to the 1970s, that was the pop culture big thing, right? I mean, that's just we
yeah
evolve.
I don't know if I don't know if Shakespeare was pop culture back then, but yeah, it'll have a lasting effect on humanity.
Yeah.
You know, what's Shakespeare? 500 years old. So 500 years from now, I still think they'll talk about Star Wars in some form or another.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And even if you're not into it, or haven't seen all the movies, whatever, it's like everybody knows who Darth Vader is,
Right.
Luke Skywalker, Yoda, lightsaber, just cultural osmosis.
Story. Oh yeah. Even if you've
And
never even watched the movies, you still understand the concepts. Yeah.
yeah,
I
boys, girls, all of it, all over the world. Everybody knows what it is,
yeah.
and there's very few things that can say that. Everything else is more niche, and you know, Star Wars has penetrated every part of pop culture in one way or another.
Yeah. I remember for me, for some reason, like, I mean, when you're a kid, your memories are definitely completely skewed and everything. But my first memory of Star Wars as a whole was most certainly Ewoks. And that's not the first like thing that I necessarily watched, but I can't remember what the first thing I remember about Star Wars. But I do remember, which it kind of tracks if you think about it. Like Ewoks, I feel like were made not for the 30-year-old watching Star Wars. Like Ewoks were made so that it could connect more with little kids, I would think. Like, there wasn't too many Well, maybe I take that back with Grogu now. There are 30-year-olds right now that love Grogu, but you look at all the kids that love Grogu and that kind of thing, like that something like that. And Grogu's only one actual character, whereas the Ewoks was like a whole, I don't know, nation of things, you know. But I do remember the Ewoks, my first memory, which obviously is not chronological. And I remember the concept of Vader being Luke's father. Like, I was like, that really messed with me, like for a while. Like, I didn't see it coming. Again, I'm little. I'm not like 20 years old or anything. So like, it really messed with me a lot. And just going back to that of different scenes that are just iconic, even if they're not great. Like, I have the high ground. Like, that's so stupid. Like, it was a stupid line to say at that time. And he's so passionate about it in that moment. Well, and let me get your take. Do you think that was ridiculous when Ewan McGregor is shouting down, I have the high ground? Like, what was, because there's, that went viral for like the wrong reason when that movie came out. What's your take on that actually?
Uh, Yeah, it's more of a meme than it's, a cultural touchstone, like I'm your Luke, I'm your father
Right,
type
right.
deal.
Yeah, Luke, I'm your
And
father is pretty epic, but it just
I
was
mean,
like,
if you think about it, like that scene, I mean, it's nuts. Like they're jumping off cranes and volcanoes and streams of lava,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden a hill with a gentle slope is a big deal. It's like, what
that's
what are we doing here?
yeah,
So I don't understand how that's what they landed on. It's going to be the big, you know, uh,
that's what I'm saying.
climax of the trilogy. And that's the thing. A lot of people said like the first trilogy, he kept his peers and his wife at the time, and uh, you know a lot of collaborators around who could save him from his kind of worst impulses.
Yeah,
And when he did the prequel trilogy, like he was the God King of Star Wars, and everybody was just oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Nobody would give him any pushback on any of the ideas or whatever. And I think that's why those movies suffered, because George has a great ability for visual storytelling, obviously, world building, characters, costumes, all that, the absolute master. But as far as dialogue and screenplay, not not the best. And he does much better in a collaborative environment. And yeah, so, some of those things in the prequels are a little hyperbolic, like a little much, like really,
yeah,
okay. So that's my dream, is to one day, like when AI becomes like uh kind of not passe, but like really established,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh you know it'd be like operating systems of the internet now. We don't think anything about it, it's
Right.
just there.
Yep,
So anyways, once it's to that level, I want to do my own prequel trilogy movies,
dude.
and do it in the
Yeah,
style and story
and do it the
of
right
what was
way.
in.
Do it the right way.
Well, probably not. I'll probably get like trolled
You'll still
from
screw it
one end
up.
of YouTube for another. Yeah, yeah, another Gen
I'll
X
be in the
idiot.
comments. No, that was the right way to do it.
Yeah, no, this is way worse. More jar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jar Jar. You made like
yeah, more Jar Jar.
Tartar
Yeah,
Tinks
yeah,
instead of Jar Jar
yeah.
Binks.
But anyways, as a kid, like I always had an idea in my head of uh what how the prequels would have gone, and it wouldn't have had any little kids. It wouldn't have had any Jar Jars. It would have been more of a Robin Hood, um, King Arthur, you know, the Jedi Knights were guardians. That whole thing.
Or how
So with
about the
Star Wars,
Japanese voices with the fish faces who didn't their mouths didn't move correctly, and it was like Japanese, like, oh yes, Anakin, and like they're, what was
the
that, dude?
Nemoidian, yeah.
Dude, can we not? Like, can we not? That was bad, dude. Like,
Yeah, he tried to say they were talking like Count Dracula, and it's like, no, they were totally doing English. Uh, but no, anyways, the whole feel of the movies, would have gone back to when Obi-Wan was telling Luke where the lightsaber came from, that whole scene from Star Wars,
yeah,
a more, what was it, a more elegant weapon for a more civilized age, like that whole thing.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
that speaks to me that, like, you know, even though it probably wasn't, like, our idea of, chivalry and knights and stuff, comes out of those Arthurian and, Robin Hood type legends. And
yeah.
that's where you should take the story, and it just has spaceships. But and I've got a lot of cool ideas for it. And, again, stuff that's been in my head since I was a little bitty kid, but I don't know how to work in the romance
Mm.
because I'm a bro. And
You gotta have. Well, George Lucas was a bro, no? Well,
I think
he did have
he
a
had a tough
brother
time with it too.
kiss his sister. We had a brother kiss her sister, so he doesn't know about romance either.
Yeah, he had a tough time with it too. I'm
Yeah,
just
he did.
saying, like, obviously, if we crown, Jaws and Dumb and Dumber and stuff the greatest movies of all time, like, we're not coming from romantic angles. So
Yeah,
that's a little tricky to me, like how you get that going and, done in 3 movies. And I'll have to work on that one. And then to your point earlier about Ewoks, Star Wars always has cute elements. It's not super serious sci-fi. It's not Aliens. It's not 2001. It's not any, hard science to it. Blah blah blah. So it's
yeah.
got to have, cute elements. Whether it was R2D2 beeping and the Jawas
Mm-hmm.
and Ewoks, and there's always something just to uh, take the edge off. Uh, Make it a little bit more lighten the mood, so it's not just like, don't make me destroy you. You can't do
Right,
that the whole time.
right. You gotta have some fun for
Right.
sure.
So it's like bringing in those cutesy elements, but it's something that's universally, people find cute and not overdo it. But the joke kills, like everybody, gets it or whatever, and it's not trying too hard or, fart sounds or whatever. Like it's gotta work. But yeah, there's two schools of thought on Ewoks. One was he wanted to sell more merchandise, and Care Bears and Cabbage Patch dolls were big at the time.
Yeah,
They did make them. They made like stuffed animal Ewoks.
of course.
And the other school of thought is, if you go back and read the original screenplay and stuff he wrote in the early to mid '70s, it was the Wookiees that you know uh, banded together, and that whole trope of like the savage tribe that gets, uh learns the technology, then they're better warriors than the, you know evil oppressors. Same shit as Avatar and Burn Gully, and 1,000 movies have done the same thing. So it was going to be the Ewok, or the Wookiees rather. And making that many costumes back then, like that was like yak hair or something, would have been like ridiculous. So uh he just cut them in half and made Ewoks. That's sort of his party line, why he says they were Ewoks and not Wookiees. And Wookiees at that time were, kind of, Chewbacca could fly spaceships and stuff. So it would have been a little weird to make them like super primitive. But I think the big thing was just cost. And yeah, there might have been a little Care Bear merch
Aspect.
money pressure on
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
and that's like the Grogu, like, the child, like, and all this, like, part of that, you can't convince me that it's not for your younger audience, even though there are plenty of adults that also love the angle of Grogu. But you can't convince me that the thought wasn't, hey, what if we had like a baby Yoda, because the kids would just go crazy for it. We could take that storyline, it would sell well. Like, you just can't tell me that that wasn't a discussion, you know. But and I say that loving what what they did, like seeing all the what was the show that was on Disney Plus?
The
Um
Mandalorian.
yeah, yeah. What did you overall think of that?
I love the first two seasons, and when they brought it back in the middle of Book of Boba Fett was stupid, and then the third season
They're
was
trying too
stupid. So
hard.
they,
They're trying too hard, yeah.
well, they just they run the storyline like the genesis of the idea I think is brilliant, because like I wouldn't have thought of that. Like you basically have a proxy for Yoda and a proxy for Boba Fett, you know, and so you got the biggest, kind of
Yeah,
Rambo badass in Star
exactly.
Wars,
Yeah.
and then you got the cutest, wisest, most powerful little creature, whatever. So that's a great, just like I was saying, like me trying to write my prequel trilogy, it's like I don't know how to make it cute and fun. They nailed it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think that was mostly John and Favreau. So they got,
Right.
you know they got action, and they got, cute and fun, and they had a story. You know,
I have
uh,
spoken.
yeah, all that
That was
stuff. Like the
awesome.
first
All
two,
that stuff was awesome.
yeah, the writing was really good, and it was mostly episodic. Building up
Yep.
to Luke Skywalker.
Oh man, and
Yeah.
that was great, wasn't it? Weren't you like, yes? Like what?
Right.
I mean, dude, that was so cool. So
But then,
cool.
yeah, but then they couldn't leave it alone,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the Book of Boba Fett was dog shit writing, and they brought in two episodes where he was hardly even in it, uh, and basically undid the whole second season of Mando, and it was like, what are you doing? But like, Disney, all their corporate decision making, and they fired Gina Carano. She was supposed to have her own series, and they're going to kind of do the Avengers thing, and bring
Mm-hmm.
them all in together. So like this movie should have been like the wrapping up all those streaming TV shows from the first part of this decade,
Yeah.
and instead I think we're getting basically a 2 hour TV episode. I have no expectation. I'll go see it, obviously, and I'll
Yeah.
probably like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll no matter what, I'll probably like it, but
Yeah. But it's still gonna
it
be not
just
what it could have been.
it's yeah, it just went off the rails, and that was the cool thing about having George, own Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic and running his own shop, was even though he did kind of you know played his worst impulses at times, it still wasn't corporate. Where there's way too much design by committee, and nobody wants to stick their neck out. We've all worked in those type situations. It's just group think, and or whatever data's come back from marketing says we should do, and it's just like that is never the way to do anything. And it's got its fingerprints all over what's come out on Disney the last few years with Book of Boba Fett and the Obi-Wan show and the Acolyte. They were all just so horribly done, and it just really soiled the brand.
Yeah.
And I'm to the point now. I think it just they need to put it on mothballs for a decade, let it build some uh miss it, like
Yeah.
set some
Let
mystery,
new people find it. Let a new crowd find it
yeah,
and fall in love with it
exactly,
and push it.
exactly, because
Yeah. That's
we
what
always think
happened
of
with
Star Wars
episodes
being.
1, 2, and 3. That's literally what happened. I mean,
Yeah, there was basically nothing Star Wars for almost a decade,
yeah.
after Return of the Jedi, there was some cartoons and a few
E-
books and some role
Ewok
playing
stuff.
stuff.
There was some Ewok stuff.
Yeah, the Ewok Saturday morning cartoon and a Droids cartoon. They weren't very good. They weren't on very long.
Right.
And then and it was basically dormant. Like I said, that it would just pop up here and there. There would be a few licensed things, but I
Yep.
mean, there was no merch, there was no toys, and it really built that longing uh
Dude, I
to
so agree that
to
that needs to happen.
revisit that universe.
Dude, from
Yeah, they
2030
didn't.
to 2040, I hope there's nothing. Like, that'd be nice.
And I was thinking, I'm getting so damn old. They can't take off too long because
Well,
I'll be so freaking old. But you know,
yeah.
another 10 years, I'll be 62. Am I really gonna care?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Nah, you'll always care.
yeah. But I think they need to give it some space, no pun intended. And when they come back, I don't think it needs to be like. I definitely hope they don't remake the originals or go down that route.
Oh,
Which
God.
I'm scared to death they will. And
Oof.
I would
And
set
we'll
it.
go see it. We'll see it and we'll complain. Gosh, I hope they don't do that either, though, dude. That's, ugh.
And they need to set it in like a different time period, like uh you know the foundation of the force, whatever you want to call it, like that. That's where I'd go. I don't know. And that there's comics and all video games that explore kind of that time period, but that to me it would give you a clean canvas to start from versus oh, he's Luke's second cousin shit, like
Yeah.
just get away from all that. You've already ruined it with the last three movies.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to go far in the future, which I think is difficult because how do you advance the technology that's already advanced?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
tough. That's what's tough. The pew
whereas I
pew,
think
like, it's already in the 1970s, they had pew pew. And then when you remake the movies a little bit after, you can't change the pew 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 because it's in the same year. Even though your technology is 40 years advanced, that was always hilarious to me of how, like, the lasers had to be kind of the same, but you kind of have to. It's kind of funny how that works out. But yeah. So what are they going to do? It's, yeah.
yeah, I don't know because I think they've ran sort of the current time period in the ground with these shows that are like filler in between the prequels and the original trilogy,
Right.
and then
Oh, the Clone
like
Wars. Oh,
Mando and
this.
Grogu takes place right after Return of the Jedi, so it'd be before the sequel movies, and it's just like I I I'm as big a fan as they come, and I'm kind of burnt on it all. Like,
Yeah.
you can leave some stones unturned.
It's okay. Yeah, like, it's
It's
okay.
enough.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you this. I want to jump to hockey, but one last question
Yeah, no.
about Star Wars.
Yep.
What is your biggest beef with Star Wars? We all love it. We all overall we love it. Don't get me wrong. But I'm curious what your biggest, like, gosh, I just wish they wouldn't have done, and because we've talked about a lot of things, but what's number one on your list?
Uh, mm. I honestly, the two biggest thing, like what's top of mind. I don't like people that don't like Star Wars or like pretend it's irrelevant. You know, I get it. Like if you're a hot, gorgeous woman, in your mid 20s, it's
You're probably
probably
not.
not gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
your favorite. But don't act like it sucks,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
that everybody that likes it is a
Stupid, or
dork
yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah
yeah.
old what. And it's like again, it's motion picture Shakespeare, and you should at least give it its props for that.
Yeah.
And another thing I like, I the just the Disney corporatization, what they've done with it. They took the first was, one of the top five IPs of all time and ran it into absolute ground. The theme parks, the video games, the comic books,
Mm,
the toys, the motion pictures, and the streaming. That's pretty impressive because I really think it's at a low point now and a lot of just complete apathy about the whole brand, whether it's good, bad, or other. Just
yeah,
they've soiled the name by uh you know uh doing too much, and what they have done is not you know uh really pleased anyone. And again, it has all the hallmarks of corporate think and group decision making, and all the all the worst of modern co- uh you know, corporate America. uh as much of those prequel movies, the last three George did, could have been better. They were still, had his voice,
yeah. His
his
stamp.
look.
Yeah, yeah,
They weren't that much like the originals. There wasn't a ton, overabundance of callbacks and Easter eggs and all that crap they do now. And uh, it's just. I really wish they had just had better leadership and you know gotten better showrunners and writers and stuff, because
yeah.
some of those streaming shows were just pitiful. It was my buddies, like, uh, after watching someone was like, "Have they even seen Star Wars?" And on one hand, it's like, oh, we wanted fresh voices, we didn't want people, you know, trying to do the same thing over. And it's just like, well, I get that, but at the same time, like, they've got to know uh, the universe, the 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 fabric of what it's about. And they've ruined so many IPs. That Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. Whoa. uh just complete theft of these amazing literary works or movies or whatever. It's just like, it's just been done to the damn ground because we have so little shared cultural threads now. So it's just taking stuff from our generation and remaking it or adding on to it. And 9 out of 10 things just suck. And Star Wars got it bad, Star Trek got it bad,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings got it bad. I think they're getting ready to do it to Harry Potter. uh that new show does not seem to like it's going to have the charm of those movies, which you'll find this hilarious. I've never read one Potter book or seen one of the movies.
So here's no. So this is funny. I also not much of a reader,
And-
so I haven't read the books, but I did try at a buddy's house and to watch Harry Potter, and I got 20 minutes in. I said, I just sorry, I'm gonna go, man. I can't do it, and that was it. And that was it. So I haven't even given. So
oh wow.
I understand like the lure of it, and I understand like the story of it. I understand quite a bit for someone who doesn't know anything. Yeah, I
Well,
still you just
that's where I was getting ready to go. Cultural osmosis. I know who
yeah,
Dumbledore is. I
I,
know who Snape is.
dude,
I know who
100%.
Hermione is.
Yes,
Like,
dude.
all I know what a Muggle is.
Yeah,
And like, I have never spent any time with any of it.
dude. How
But
wild
it
is
was,
that? I'm with you 100% on that.
yeah, yeah.
Isn't that
It's
funny?
so big. Yeah. Uh, I know what House Gryffindor is. Like, it's just like I have no clue how the story goes.
Yeah,
It seems so simplistic and derivative. I can kind of figure out,
yeah.
like, in my head, what
What
happens.
happened? Yeah, it's like we have seen it, like
But
because we know how to.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
I just don't care. I don't know how Snape or whatever, like, who's the guy at the end without the nose?
Right. Yeah.
I don't
Got it.
know how that all fits together, but I'm
Right.
sure it's something. And like,
But Harry defeats him.
anyways,
Right. Like
yeah, sacrifices himself, saves our, whatever. It's been done. It's been done a million times.
we're gonna get
Uh,
crushed in the comments. No, it's like this and this. Well, we don't know. We
no,
haven't
no,
watched it.
no,
We haven't watched it.
no
We're not going
spoilers.
to. Yeah, no spoil. Don't spoil Harry Potter for me. Yeah,
Voldemort
Voldemort.
is that the guy without
Yes,
the
it
nose?
is. It is
So
Voldemort.
yeah, like
Yes.
it's crazy. Like, you just absorb that, and even something I obviously don't care for, and I think is kitty and derivative of other works. Like, uh, that's a great universe that J.K. Rowling, right? That's her name. Came up with great names, characters, and stuff. And I again, like, given something that's, a chance to breathe, let people rediscover it, like you were saying. Like, I don't even feel like those movies were that long ago. I guess they were,
Yeah.
technically
No, we're getting
2026,
old.
and the last one was
Yeah.
what, 2011 or 13, somewhere in there. So it's been over a decade or whatever, but I still feel like they should give it more time before jumping back into it. And then,
Nope.
you
They're not
know,
going to. They're jumping in.
that they've obviously given it the modern casting, which YouTube has ran with, and I just feel like it might destroy that one, which is probably the closest thing to Star Wars for millennials and Gen Z. Um, they probably have more of an affinity for that in many cases. Uh, and really, that I think, like, sales numbers, like, objectively, the only thing bigger than Star Wars and Harry Potter and stuff is like Pokemon, and
That's
some of
resurgence
that,
too. Yeah.
some of that kind of crap, which I literally know nothing about that. I
I
couldn't
don't
tell you the
either.
first thing about uh a lot of that world, but I think that's the only thing that, throughout history that's outsold,
Would
you
rival
know,
it. Yeah.
brands like Star Wars.
Anime, maybe Dragon Ball Z type stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, stuff in that world. Pokemon's the biggest one. I feel like there's another obvious one. It's escaping me, but like, stuff in that world is like the only thing that's ever been bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. For me with Star Wars, I just don't like how it seemed like it wasn't that hard to get certain things right, and they just let, like, oh well, we could sell a bunch of, talking Jar Jars if we do this and make him this character and like this. That was the biggest thing. Like, it wasn't like that in the 70s. Now, it wasn't when George Lucas first. I remember talking to my uncle who um he made a few documentaries. He was like in that world, living in Los Angeles, knows a thing or two about film, and is 70. So him and his cousins, they went to the theater legit as adults,
Right.
like fired up, right? Because since he's older, like, he does remember, and they remember thinking like, well, we don't know if this is going to be the thing to take off. And then once they got out of the theater, they're like, whoa. Which means that when George Lucas made it, he didn't know for sure how it would get accepted, and it luckily went in his favor, and of course we all love it. But I just think that when you have
It
that,
almost
it's like
it almost
crazy.
killed him. It put him in a hospital.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like, I mean, it's been documented ad nauseum, but he had like hypertension or whatever, like, his, like, tight chest or whatever, because he was under
Hmm.
so much pressure.
Yeah.
And I think it scarred him for the rest of his life. And I think that's why, instead of like all the collaborators and stuff he had on the first few movies, he wanted, sole control over it, and he finally had FU money and could
Right.
do whatever he want.
Yeah.
And you know, uh, I've read books and stuff ad nauseum, and about the origins of it, how it got made, responsible parties or whatever, and you know, what is it? Success has a million authors, and success or defeat is an orphan, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, I think, in a lot of these, stories. I mean, at the end of the day, George is still the man, but I, I do think he had a lot of help because I've basically read the original screenplays and stuff, which it was just it's surprisingly close to episode one, The Phantom Menace, the 1999 movie.
Hmm.
That's more the original Star Wars movie than the original Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
which says to me like, dude, you know, you had 25 years. You tell me you couldn't write another movie.
I know, right? Like, come on,
Like
dude.
he sent us one idea, which is basically, Kurosawa film. I forget which one. I should know this. But anyways, it was very derivative, and it was basically the plot of the of Phantom Menace. There's a great graphic novel they called it The Star Wars, which was on his original screenplay, and it's beautifully done. But it has the original story
Yeah.
as he wrote it, and I've read all kinds of stuff like why how it evolved from that to what got on screen, and they give a lot of credit to his wife at the time. And I I watched the series on YouTube, and he gave a lot of credit to the woman that wrote Empire Strikes Back, Lee Brackett. And there's a lot of what I call like circumstantial evidence that she might have had a lot of script doctoring for the original movie, because like I said, it's all kind of circumstantial secondary type evidence. There's
Yeah.
no smoking gun that she's the
Right.
one that wrote it. But
100%. Yeah.
anyways, like her name's Leah, and you have Princess Leia or Leia. And anyway, she was a screenwriter, but she had written like all kinds of sci-fi books and stuff. And this guy went back and read those, and pulled stuff she had written in the 1950s, and like all kinds of stuff, uh as evidence, like this is where these plot threads came from. And then when he plucked her out of obscurity to write Empire Strikes Back, it's like, why the hell did he hire her?
Yeah.
And I think it's because she had ghostwritten the first movie, so he just went with what he knew. And because of Hollywood screenwriting credit and stuff, he didn't want to give her credit for the first movie. And as a thank you, or whatever, it's like, yes, you can write the second one. And then unfortunately she died of cancer before they got it finished. And then Lawrence Kasdan came in, who wrote uh Raiders of the Lost Ark and a lot of other great movies. He kind of polished it up, and then wrote Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens too, I think, and then part of
Oh,
the Solo movie. um so he's a very experienced, classic Hollywood type writer. But it was another funny thought I've had, is like, what it like there's basically like 83 to 99. What's that, 16 years? So there was 16 years between Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace.
yeah.
So would it be funny if you made the movie the prequel movies look like they were done 16 years before the original Star Wars in 77? So what would that have been? 1961. So basically, like, make the original trilogies black and white,
That's funny.
and I think it would work.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll do it with my AI movie
Yeah.
that comes
When
out
it comes out. Yeah.
five to 10 years from
Coming
now.
soon
But
to
like,
YouTube. Yeah.
yeah, that would be a funny way to go. It's got a lot of 1950s sensibilities and stuff to it, but the special effects is all current, crispy. But it has a lot of like that the actors, and you remember how like actors in the old timey movies, they kind of had that quote mid Atlantic accent.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite British, but it wasn't quite American.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
It was mid Atlantic, especially the women. They were breathless, you know. So, anyways, you kind of have that whole acting dynamic, to the story. And like I said, I want to make it look like Robin Hood and uh King Arthur, those type movies, which I guess they're more like 30s and 40s, but close enough. You get it. So it's just like that would be a fun way to go, I think.
Yeah.
Do it like that. The black and white might be a little much for three movies, but something like that I think could work. Like you just literally make it look like it was done
Yeah, way
16
back.
years before the originals.
Have like
So
bad edits like on purpose. Even like
no, I not nothing like uh what's the $6 word for that? Idiosyncratic, like nothing like
yeah. Yeah.
acronisms. Is that what I'm thinking? Like,
That's
anyways,
way
like
too smart
nothing.
for me.
Yeah, like one of those $6 words. Like I wouldn't have anything like that. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I think if you like the haircuts and the costumes and the acting styles, lighting, even like whatever. If it looked like a old uh adventure movie, I think that would be a fun way to go with it.
Adam
Versus,
West. Shoot it like Adam West and Batman.
yeah, why not? Because like it's funny, like especially the second movie. If you go back and watch it, the Attack of the Clones, they shot that on digital cameras. George has always wanted to push the envelope, but they were only 1080p at the time, and you've got 4K now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll be able to update it with AI and everything else. But like, if you haven't watched it, it looks like shit. It looks like you're watching a bad video game. Like they did not like that movie especially did not age well at all. The other two have more set pieces, uh, whereas that one was almost done entirely on green screen with
Yeah.
with a 1080 digital camera, which I saw this somewhere. They something like leaked in the audio when they were doing it. So every line of audio of that movie is ADR. Like it's re-recorded after the movie.
Oh.
Hardly hardly anything or nothing at all in that movie is the actual performance. That's how effed up that movie was. And that's my least favorite of all of them. I don't even like the music in that one. It's annoying. I don't. If you go back and watch it, John Williams, he has this little going like throughout the whole movie. It's like, what the hell were you thinking? It just kind of this frantic manic, little
Yeah.
and like it just annoys the shit out of me every time I watch that movie. And the Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith, they're not my favorite, but like I'll still watch those.
Yeah.
They're decent. But that Attack of the Clones just it looks like crap, sounds like crap, and has very few redeeming moments.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, dude, yeah, let's talk some hockey.
yeah. So I want to find out what coming out of because we said that we were gonna have you on once the first round is all the way over and we have the next round set, and that's right where we're at. So it's kind of
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, we're there.
So
Yeah.
tell me, what were the big things out of the first round that jumped out to you?
All right, we had Colorado over LA Kings in a sweep. No surprise there. That could have been the Predators that got swept. So
Fair.
I guarantee you, they might have won one game, but yeah, no team had a chance. And then Minnesota Dallas. I would have picked Dallas, but I think they were hurt. I couldn't give you their entire roster, whatever, but I don't think they were all together. And Minnesota's got a hell of a lineup, so it'll be interesting to see how they um they lost the first game against Colorado. Freaking barn burner, but
Yeah.
that'll be an interesting series. And let's see, Vegas over Utah, not surprising. Oh, here's the upset: the Ducks over the Oilers. I totally would have picked the
Oh
Oilers,
gosh,
and
yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
they they look slow and shitty. I think McDavid had an ankle injury. He didn't play like himself. That was the first time like he wasn't the best player out there. And Anaheim looked young, fast, efficient. I was shocked how good they played. I watched a lot of those games.
Yeah.
So I I don't think they'll go anywhere, but that's an up and coming team. And then in the East, we had Buffalo over Boston. That's not a huge surprise. A lot of people like the big bad Bruins, kind of like you were saying, when the 76ers
Yeah.
always lose. So
Yeah. Exactly.
they kind of had that going for them. But Buffalo took care of business, and then yeah, Montreal just beat Tampa on Sunday, and
Yep.
that was a neck and neck series there. That could have gone either way. And then Carolina swept Ottawa. A lot of people were pumping the tires on Ottawa, like, oh, they're good. Like, I didn't see that one. That one's not really a surprise to me. Carolina's my wagon team. Like, I think they might finally get it done this year. We'll see. And then Philly over Pittsburgh. That was kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
Uh, Pittsburgh actually was higher in the standings, but if you watch the series, you wouldn't have known. And P- Pittsburgh just looked old, and Philadelphia
Well,
is very
they
similar
are.
to Anaheim. Yeah, yeah, to Anaheim. A lot of young studs coming up or whatever, and they got it done eventually. I mean, they were up 3-0. Pittsburgh came back on them, big three, but it just wasn't enough. And uh, then Philly went out and got the crap beat out of them by Carolina. I don't think they have much of a chance against Carolina. So I really think Carolina's the class of the East. The West is a little bit more up for grabs. Colorado's a hell of a team, but uh, I don't really like their goaltending. It's kind of like the good enough tandem goaltending, and that can bite you in the ass in the playoffs. And then I don't know how healthy the Avalanche are. Probably good enough, and
Good
I
enough to score 9 goals, maybe.
yeah, that kind of thing. But McKinnon and McCarr are just probably the second and third best players in the world. McDavid's still the best in my opinion, but McKinnon would be the second, and then McCarr on D. He's definitely the best defender in the world. Just really great puck mover, skater, everything. Quarterback, take you through everything.
Yeah.
They're gonna be a tough out. I don't know if Minnesota, as much as they've stacked their roster, with the Hughes and all that. I still don't know if that'll be enough. Uh, and they don't have a history of getting it done. So I like Colorado over Minnesota. Then Vegas Ducks. The odds. Have to favor Vegas. They won it a few years ago and had hell of a roster, a lot of depth, but again, not a lot of spring chickens on that team. So Anaheim might just run them in the ground. I don't really know on that one. That'll be interesting. I'd go with Vegas, but I could totally see Anaheim upsetting them. But I really think when it all comes down to it, it'll be Colorado versus Carolina, and uh,
Okay,
you
that's what I was
know,
going to ask you.
yeah. I mean that's the lamest pick ever. They're both number one seeds, but like
No, but
they're
yeah, but why are they number 1 seeds then, Mr.
yeah.
Brent Thrax? Let me ask you that. Because they're good. It's like, why is the Thunder the number 1 seed in the West? Oh, well, they won the most games
Oh
and they're
yeah.
really good.
Well, I mean
Like,
they're absolutely they're young and stacked. And anyways, Colorado's got the what I said was second and third best player in the world, and a pretty pretty good depth on their roster.
Good hockey city.
And
Pretty good hockey city, man. I mean,
oh yeah,
they like their Avalanche there.
sure,
It's a
especially love a
thing.
winner. And Minnesota's the state of hockey,
Yeah.
but I I I I just at the end of the day, just those two teams are just a cut above. And then when they go head to head, uh, you know, Colorado's got the got the firepower, but again, that whole goaltending situation, come back biting the ass big time. Gretzky said it best about goaltending. It's not the ones they let in; it's the ones they don't. Which is like duh. But if you go beneath the surface, what he was trying to say is it's would they make that key save right at the time of the game?
Yeah.
It all intents and purposes, it should have gone in, and
But they
somehow
just pulled a
they
rabbit out
they
of
got
their
a
hat.
pad.
Yeah, like, oh,
Well, yeah,
the
pulled something out of their
Olympics.
ass.
And we saw that in the
Yeah,
Olympics,
exactly,
dude.
exactly. That's exactly what happened there. That
It's huge.
crazy save.
Yeah, dude.
And anyways, his goalie back in Gretzky's heyday was Grant Fuhrer, and he was the epitome of that. His stats weren't always that awesome, but when you needed a save,
Yeah.
you know, something that would change the momentum of the game or keep the momentum from changing, he made that save. He was a money goalie. And Colorado, Wedgwood, and the other, both of their goalies, their names sounded like. Anyways, not that great. And Carolina's goalie is way better, and Carolina's got just they, hell of a system they play, very tight, and just hell of depth on that team, and a lot of players mid-20s, right in the prime of their career, so they've got that team speed, and they don't give you a lot of time and space out there, so that'll be a hell of a series.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
the only real shocker from the first round was that Anaheim over Edmonton,
yeah, that's
and
fair. In the East, what about
Edmonton
the?
really needs to. Anyway, Edmonton really needs to like think through it because their window is going to close if they don't,
Mm,
and they've done just a horrendous job of roster and salary cap management. Uh, over the whole McDavid Draisaitl time period, and if they don't get it together, their window is going to slam shut because two players does not make a hockey team. Yeah. So,
yeah.
anyways, go ahead.
So I'm just wondering about who goes to in the East with was it Buffalo and Montreal, right? They don't play till the they don't play till Tuesday. They don't start.
Yeah, I think so.
It's in Montreal. They have home ice. Do you give the Sabres a chance?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sabres have everything but experience, and
Well,
But Montreal's the same way, and Montreal beating Tampa is a classic case of I'd rather be lucky than good. And I, a lot of people are big on Montreal. I'm not as big on them, but that'll be a tight series. But again, I just think Carolina's the class of the East, and they'll take care of Philly, and then they'll probably smack Buffalo or Montreal. So it's going to end up uh, them coming out of the East, and
yeah,
then
they already beat him 3-0, right? Was that first game?
oh yeah, they had control of it from start to finish.
Yeah,
Philly just didn't really have a chance. But we'll see. Hockey games aren't decided on paper, and
no,
health is a big factor. Momentum can change. Throughout a series, you'll think it's over, and next thing you know, they beat you in Game 7, overtime, whatever. I've seen it happen many times. But I just think this season of NHL hockey, the way the stars have aligned, Colorado and Carolina are just a step above everybody else.
Yeah.
And then next year might be more interesting because the teams like Buffalo and Anaheim and San Jose, the up and comers, they'll have another year of experience, and Florida should be healthy again. They'll be back in the mix. Uh, and then there's a lot of teams like Edmonton, Detroit that really want to get aggressive with their rosters because Edmonton's window is closing, and then teams like Detroit, they've been out of the playoffs for 10 years and like they can't take it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would go, for my Predators too. I mean, they've really got to figure out a direction once they get this new GM in. Do they want to stick with the older guys like O'Reilly and Stamkos, or do they want to clear cut the forest and make way for the younger players?
Yeah.
Because the hybrid thing they've been doing, obviously has not really worked out. So you got a lot of teams in that kind of situation versus they're in the middle of tanking, or their windows wide open. So I think the next few years of NHL should be interesting.
Yeah. We'll definitely check in also, if not sooner, next round too, and get in more as it gets juicier and you just get into the final four, or as in college, the frozen four, I guess you say.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what I'm wrong on.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Because
So
I always do one of those brackets or whatever. I didn't do one this year, but like every time I do it, they're always horrible.
yeah, so we'll check
It
in. You've
it's very
officially
very
put your
rare. I
name.
have some.
You've put your name on these picks, so now we'll see where it all goes. Stumbling wrong. Be sure to also check out the Wampas if you are in and around the Nashville area. We talked all things Star Wars today. It's only fitting we finished talking about the Wampas. Um, how is the season going right now?
Uh we've won one game. I think we've lost two or three, and then we've lost two in the shootout.
Now, do
I want
you
to say
get
we're
a point? Do they do it that way in this league?
yeah.
Okay, so
It's like I should know this, but it's like I,
I should know this,
I
but I do not.
well, it's like I played in every game. So let's see. That 1-1, and then that was overtime. That was overtime. So, the last game we lost was 7 seconds left. Or
Oh, what?
yeah, nuts.
Ugh.
We got outshot like something ridiculous, like 44-7 or something. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
We got our butts kicked. We got our butts kicked last week, so that was a loss.
Yeah.
So one.
I'd rather get my butt kicked than just like
One
lose in the last 7 seconds or something. I feel like.
standings. All right, here we go. It says on standings we're 1-3, but I think we're actually 1-2-2
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
Yeah, the standings
So
are obviously wrong. I'm sure I trust you over what the
they they don't get in a big hurry to update
update it.
things.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Even
fair.
worse is the stats, like who scored or who had an
Oh
assist or
gosh.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's usually like completely fiction,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's
not
like
gonna be right.
it matters. But
Hmm.
no, we're doing much better this season. Last season was a wash, but this season we're pretty competitive.
We
Those
don't
overtime
we
games
don't speak of last season. We don't
that was bad, winless. But yeah, this season we're much more competitive. So I think
Yeah.
there's only 8 teams, so everybody makes the playoffs. So I'm thinking
Hey, get us.
we might be able to win a game or so. We'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know. There's I'd say there's 2 or 3 teams that are like definitely, they're the Carolina, Colorado of beer league, and then we're sort of in that murky middle. Depends who all shows up and
Yeah.
whether
You're the San Jose
got our
Sharks.
got our head in the game or not. Yeah, just right, kind of a bubble team.
Yeah.
We could get anybody on any given night, but it'd have to go our way.
Yeah. You're the Northwestern of like college basketball. Northwestern's
Something
always
like
like on the
that.
bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, just one of those mediocre teams, and I like I said, this is what the year 13, something like that, and like I've seen it all.
Yeah.
We had a few years where we were in the finals every year, and then that team went away, and you kind of got to restart.
New wave of people. Yeah.
This team's kind of in the murky middle, so
It's a good
we'll
name.
see where it goes.
The Nashville Merc.
The Mercs.
The Mercs. Yeah, I like it. No, we'll stick with the Wampas, but again, if you are in the Nashville area, be sure check them out. I still have to come make my way. I do at least have the hat that I can sport to match like you, so that's always a good thing. So also reminder, check us out wherever you get your social media. There's Sports Idiot Nation, of course, TI with Titans Idiot Nation, Film Idiot Nation. We did the bracketology with the movies recently. Be sure to follow us on all social media. Also, a reminder, new episodes of Sports Idiot Nation come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which means we will see you Wednesday. Thank you for watching this episode of Sports Idiot Nation. Remember, we are on all social media and on YouTube, and the podcast can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Remember, new episodes are every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And remember, because you watch Sports Idiot Nation,
you would be the smartest idiot in the whole world.